It can be pretty natural when you want to create a new website to want to jump ahead to actually getting the website itself and software set up on it. However, this is actually part 2 of my training because I really recommend for you to go through the entire niche and keyword and product selection process before you ever set up a website, because your domain name can simply end up varying depending on what your niche is going to be. So you want to know for sure before you actually proceed with registering that domain name and then getting your website set up on it. Now, what you need to do before you can actually install the software itself is to get your domain set up with your web hosting account. Now, a lot of you may already know how to do this, but just in case, I want to very briefly show you. If you're using a brand new web hosting account, you should have an email from your hosting provider that provides something called domain name servers. It may also be abbreviated DNS. If you have an existing website already, maybe you can't find your old email or something like that. If you're using shared website hosting, you might be able to look in this little stats box. If you go to a domain name that is on your website, and then type in /cpanel on the end of it, you'll get to the cPanel page that you see here, assuming you are using a Linux-based web hosting. So now, sometimes in this listing here, they will show you what your domain name servers are. However, I'm not on a shared hosting account. I'm actually on a dedicated server of my own, so that information is not displayed for my particular hosting account, but it likely may be for yours. Well, these domain name servers, what they look like is a website address, but it has these NS and numbers as a subdomain for that domain name, and you're going to be provided with 2 of them. You need to record both of these domain name servers. Then, wherever you have registered your domain name at, you actually need to edit these domain name servers and set them to point to your server. So for mine, I've set mine to ns1.ryanstevensonplugins.com and ns2.ryanstevensonplugins.com, the name servers for my dedicated server. So this allows me to type my domain name into the browser and to actually be able to reach my website. It also allows me to type the domain name into the browser and to be able to reach the control panel. So ultimately, what you need to be able to do before you proceed with installation of Fresh Store Builder is to actually be able to go to your domain name, type in /cpanel, and you should be able to get to a page just like this for your own domain. This tells you that your domain name servers have propagated, which means that you can actually use it and it'll point to your web host instead of to a temporary parked domain page, for example. So you can then proceed with actually setting up your website once you can get to your control panel through your domain name. Now, setting up Fresh Store Builder is a multi-step process. However, it's really not very difficult to do. The first thing you need to do is create your own MySQL database. If you look for databases, and then you'll see a MySQL databases link, just click on that, and you're going to get to this page here. What you want to focus on is the create new database part. So I could type in something like Fresh Store Builder as an abbreviation. I could also give it some other kind of random name just to perhaps make it harder to guess. So I could type in Fresh Store Builder CPM for cake pop bulbs. And then I'll click on Create Database. Now what I want to do is come down here to the bottom where it says Add a New User. And I'm going to add the same thing on here, FSB CPM. And then I need to assign a password to this. Now, we're simply going to be clicking on Create User. The final thing that we need to do is come down where it says Add a User to a Database. And we need to select that user we just created, and then we need to select the database we just created, and click on the Add button. On this page, just click on All Privileges and click on Make Changes. After I've done all this, I can now see in my current databases that I have the database and I have a privileged user that is assigned to it. So this is what I want to see. Now also take note of this full name for the database, which is also the same for the user. We're going to need this when we are installing Fresh Store Builder. So I actually want to copy this entire phrase right here. Now what I need is the actual software itself. You go to the Fresh Store Builder website, you log into your account there, and look for the little download button on the right-hand side. Then you simply click on Fresh Store Builder Download Now right up here, and you can see it's getting downloaded to my computer. Well, this file is the file that we then need to take back over to our cPanel. What I'm looking for this time is under Files, I want to find File Manager. And then I'm going to click on Go. I need to make sure I'm in the public HTML directory here. Within this directory, though, where you actually put Fresh Store Builder can depend on how you want to utilize this software. As an example, if you look at my site right now, you'll see files here like wplogin.php, wp-admin as a folder up at the top. These are actually WordPress files. So I have WordPress installed as the basic domain directory. So I would not want to put Fresh Store Builder right in this exact location because it can't run on top of WordPress. You need to have a brand new directory that you are using. If the only thing you're going to run on your entire website, though, is Fresh Store Builder, if you're not planning on putting WordPress on the site, or if you only wanted to use WordPress in a subdirectory, maybe you just wanted to create a little blog and have that in a subdirectory of your site, you can have Fresh Store Builder in your base directory here. But for mine, with having WordPress here already, that's not where I want to put it. So what I want to do is create a new folder. And I can call this folder really anything that I want to. I could call it something simple like store, to where when I go to cakepopmolds.com/store, then I would be at my actual website for Fresh Store Builder. Well, I already have my store directory actually set up, and I have Fresh Store Builder running there. But I'm going to create a completely new one just so you can see how this gets done from scratch. And also to demonstrate that you could be running multiple instances of Fresh Store Builder and even WordPress on one single domain name. You just have to put each separate one in a new subdirectory, just like I've done here. So I'm going to go into Demo Store. This subdirectory now is completely empty. So what I want to do is click on Upload, and then I want to click on Browse and find the zip file that I downloaded from over here when I downloaded Fresh Store Builder. So wherever that goes to on your local computer, simply locate that after clicking on the Browse button. Now the actual uploading process, when you select it, it's going to take just a minute. It's a fairly decent sized file. It's about 10 megabytes or so. So it might take a minute or two depending on the speed of your internet connection and the speed of your web server as well. When you finally see it listed as complete right here, then you can close this window and go back to the file manager page that you were on before. Just click on the reload button up at the top, and you will then see the actual zip file that you uploaded. Well, now all you have to do is right click and click on extract. Click on extract files again, and this will automatically put all of these files into your directory. So now these are all of the files for Fresh Store Builder. All you need to do now is to take that zip file that you uploaded and delete it. So just right click and click on delete this time and confirm the delete. So now we have all of the files on our website, but we don't have that installation file there anymore because we don't need that any longer. Once we have the software set up and the database set up, we can then proceed to actually visit our website. So I typed in cakepopmolds.com/demo store. And this brings me to my installation script. So now what I want to do, where it says database name and username, I want to paste in what I copied from over here. Remember I told you to copy the database, which is also the user? That's what's going in both of these boxes right here. And then you just need to provide the password. This password is the password that you created for the user that you were adding. So this password that you typed in twice right here, that's going to be your password that goes into Fresh Store Builder. And then you just click on Save. Now we only have one final step to do, and we will actually be able to access Fresh Store Builder on our site now. we need to provide login information for our administrator account. So I could do something like cake pop molds for my username. You can do a basic admin for a username, but it is more secure if you create some kind of a unique username. Although using a username that is exactly modeled after your domain name may not be the most unique choice either. So another thing to keep in mind. For this demo though, it's not going to make a lot of difference. I will actually be deleting this demo installation. So provide a password, repeat your password, and once you have your email and your username provided, then just click on Install My Store. And you just have to wait for this process to complete, depending on your speed of your server. It can take a few minutes, or it can be pretty quickly, like mine went through. Now, the first thing you're going to see when you get into Fresh Store Builder is going to be this window right here. Would you like to set up your store? I know it might be tempting to go and try to take a look at the plugin or the software first. However, I would really recommend to get started with this quick store setup. Click on the Yes button here. This is going to take you through a 5-step process that you need to complete to be able to get this software running, to give it everything that it needs as far as information from you. Now, one of the cool things about Fresh Store Builder is that you get themes to choose from. You have the fluid template, which is going to be activated by default. That's what I've been using in my demo videos. And then you also have these other 2 options that you can pick from as well. Something to keep in mind though, if you are planning on connecting this Fresh Store Builder site to WordPress and you picked up the upgrade for the WordPress theme and the plugin, you will actually want to stick with this fluid template right here, because this really uses the design that the other plugin and theme are going to be utilizing on the WordPress site. So to make things match, just stick with the one that it already has up there. Now, my first time through, I found this a little confusing, and I clicked on Save and Exit down here, and it completely got me out of this system. I didn't get to go through the rest of these steps. You also don't have to worry about this Activate button down here unless you want to change a theme. Then you click on another theme and click on Activate. Otherwise, simply click on the Next button right up here at the top. And this will take you over to step number 2. For step number 2, you provide a name for your store. And if you're not sure what any of these things mean, you can just hover over them and it gives you a description down below. Very convenient. So I'm going to call this Cake Pop Molds after the name of my domain name, obviously. You have other options here that are going to initially control how Amazon is really going to work on this website. Enable Shopping Cart is going to give you that on-site shopping cart system, which also enables you to get 90-day cookies. However, it's not a requirement to use that shopping cart system. There are some products, if you think people might be more inclined to make a quick purchase on a product, as opposed to having to take a little bit of time to really think about it and make a final decision, the faster products you might not want to use the shopping cart for. However, one thing I really like about this is you have the option to show Amazon links. You can actually provide a direct link to Amazon for each of your products and also have the shopping cart as well. Now, stockless products. These are going to be products that are not available currently. However, sometimes these products can be good because they might be popular and simply have sold out temporarily and then they'll get replenished. So sometimes you'll want to leave it on if you don't want to have to worry about accidentally searching out a product and adding it to your site and it not being available immediately. Then remove this checkbox here. The Amazon description checkbox here. This is important because this is going to pull the Amazon product description and put it on a page of your website when you create a product page with this software. Well, if you are using this setting, it is very important that you actually go back through the various pages of your website and customize those descriptions. Add some of your own unique content to go along with it. Otherwise, Amazon can actually frown upon situations where you're building product pages that contain absolutely nothing but information straight off of their website. They don't consider you to be an affiliate adding value to their business that way. So, with that said, if you use this checkbox, if you leave it on, you need to go through each product page that you create on this site and customize the description. If you turn it off, then you should be writing your own custom description for each of those products. One way or another, though, you do need to do a little bit of custom work with this, and this will help you to set you apart on Google and other search engines, as well as helping to keep you in line with Amazon affiliate agreements. And it also helps you to get better results with converting your visitors into sales. Now, finally, we have category products per page, 18. This tells us how many products will be listed on a category page. A category page is a page just like you see here. Well, they're columns of 3. So if you do decide to change this number, make sure it is in an increment of 3 to get it to look the best on your live website. When you're finished with your settings here, click on Next, and you'll go over to Step 3 now. For Step 3, you need to provide your Amazon API information and your affiliate ID and/or tracking ID. Now, if you do not have API keys, or if your key test does not work out correctly, go through this information over here. It'll tell you exactly what you need to do. Chances are you need to do step number 3 if your keys aren't working. This sign up image that it guides you to, you not only have to generate your keys through AWS, but then if you're not actually signed up for Product Advertising API through your affiliate account, those keys won't work. So if you're having any problems, go through that. Now, I can't show you my actual key and secret key here because they are what I actively use. But just take that information off of Amazon, paste it in here and here, and then down below for your Amazon tag, this would be for whichever locale you have selected up top. So I have Amazon.com. This is going to be the site that I am creating. The link localization or the localization features in Fresh Store Builder don't localize each individual affiliate link on a page. What it actually does is it redirects traffic from other countries to completely separate websites. So this whole process that I'm doing, you could do this for foreign country sites. For example, I could set up a second Fresh Store Builder in another subdomain, and I could make that one for Amazon UK, and then I could take my UK traffic and direct it over to this locale. So depending on the locale you select, make sure your affiliate ID matches that locale. And if you are using a tracking ID, you would put that here instead of your affiliate ID. They are interchangeable. So when you have this information entered in, and you have also punched in your Amazon key and secret key, then click on the Save and Test Keys button. Now, once you have actually gone through and tested your keys and it says they are valid and working, you then click on the next button and you'll arrive at step 4 over here where I'm at. Now, the categories here, these categories are product categories. Whatever you want to call the category on your website. And basically what you want to be doing here is whatever kinds of products you previously researched and are considering to promote on this website, you want to try to organize those products into a couple of different categories to make it easier for people on your site to find exactly what they're looking for. So I have silicone molds that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to type that in, click on the plus button. And then I also have supplies or accessories that are going to go along with these molds. And this is going to be my initial setup. I might also later add in things like baking equipment, maybe mixers and things like that. But this will be a good start for me, and I don't want to overwhelm myself with choices for now. So I'm just going to start with 2. For your website, go for whatever works the best. Some sites may only have a couple of types of products, and other sites may have a wider variety than that. However, you do not want to go overboard on your product creation initially in this software. So now I click on Next again. I'm at Setup Complete, and I can now click on View Store Overview. Now this page here is important, and if you ever need to get back here as you're working on your website, it's right here in the corner. Get Started and Store Health. This will bring me to my Store Health page, and it lists all of the different important aspects of this software that you need to make sure you have set up before you actually publish a live website. Note right here that it says my store is currently not live. This gives you the freedom to do your website construction without having to worry about Google coming in and indexing your site before you're ready for it to do so. Because if they do index your site when you've just loaded it full of automated product pages before you've gone through and done the customization of those pages, that could actually hurt your chances for good search rankings from the get-go. So Fresh Store Builder keeps your website in a maintenance mode until you're actually ready to publish it. You can come to this page and click on Make Store Live when you're actually ready to go live with it. But don't do that until you're finished building it, simply for the reasons I was talking about before. Now, down here at the bottom, it talks about recommendations. These are things that you would essentially want to try to do to create your site before you actually make it go live. Now, the recommendations might slightly vary from what I'm going to be teaching you guys to do throughout the course of this training series. However, they are pretty close. Right here it says, it is recommended you add at least 5 pages of unique content before making a store live. I'm going to have you add more than 5 pages. However, you could create a really small website first that just involves 5 pages and a couple of product pages. And then as you create those additional 5 or 10 more pages worth of content, you could add in some extra products as you go. So you could stop partway through and publish your site, or you can try to work from start to finish and build your entire website before making it live. I've had it work out successfully either way with getting good search rankings. So it's really just a matter of personal preference, whether you want to let people in before you're really done or not. So with that said, I won't actually be covering the creation of all of these different pages and products and things of that nature in this exact class, but we will be proceeding on with the creation of all of our content, the structure of our site, and ultimately all of our site advertising in future training classes. Before I conclude this class, though, I do have one final thing that I would like to point out. Make that 2 final things. Number 1, at any point before you actually publish your live site, you can click to preview your site, either here or up here in the corner where it says View Site. So you can see this is my initial website that it has created for me. Now, in addition to that, one thing that you need to do is go to Tools right here and go down to Connect Your Store. Oops, sorry about that. This is actually the Store API page for connecting the WordPress plugin. The page I meant to take you guys to is actually right here, Get Started, Check License. Now, mine is already activated here because I do have another installation of Fresh Store Builder on this actual domain name already. But basically what you need to do after you install a site and go through all that store help and quick setup steps that I was initially guiding you through, you need to license this actual domain name to Fresh Store Builder itself. If you go to your dashboard in Fresh Store Builder, where it says My Account here, if you look where it says Stores, it'll tell you how many stores you have licensed, and you can click on Manage Stores right here. And this will tell you which domain names you have added to this particular license. So you register your new store here, and this allows this license page over here to check out. So basically you want to end up with it looking just like you see here. License is valid and active, and you just follow these simple steps to accomplish that. Now in the next class, we will actually proceed with getting the rest of our site set up to the point where we're ready to begin the actual creation of our content in our various pages of our website. For now, simply get your own website and domain name and installation of Freshdoor Builder set up and running to the point where I have gotten you here. So your software is not only installed, but you're completely licensed and activated and ready to proceed when the next class begins.